Hey guys, this is Trenchy back again to bring you another video, and this time I am happy to announce that this is the premiere of my new series, Spidey July, which is pretty much we will be covering the Spider-Man cartoon that ran from 1994 to 1998, I believe. We are going to be covering that cartoon. Or not, yeah, it ran to 1998, yeah. Um, Today we are going to be dissecting and looking at why the intro of this cartoon is so great. I absolutely love the intro, and yeah, then next episode we will be discussing the first episode of the series, and we'll go from there. I don't know how many episodes it's gonna have. Hopefully, at least 10. Because I'm not professional at this, so we'll see where it's gonna go. But yeah, let's dive into this, shall we? Now, before we officially start, I would like to make very clear that we will not be doing a full-on dissecting of the trailer, because that would be too much, and I don't think every scene needs to be dissected. I mean, of the intro, not the trailer, my bad, but I don't think every scene needs to be dissected, but I do want to point out some of the highlights that I think does make this a very great little intro, and I think makes it a little special. So, yeah, that's all I want to say there, because I kind of messed up earlier and made it sound like we were doing a full-on dissection when that was not the case. Whew. Now, the first thing I would like to discuss about this intro is the music, the theme song itself. The theme song is fairly simple. It has, but very unique. I've never heard another Spidey theme song like this. It has few words, simple words. Um, they repeat most of the words over and over again, but it's this like techno robot voice, very robotic voice. Kind of reminds me of like techno, a little bit of techno funk and stuff, and it's just repeating like spider blood and radioactive spider blood, Spider-Man, radioactive Spider-Man. But it's interesting, it catches your attention because that voice is so unique, um, and so different, especially since you never heard another Spider-Man theme like this. Then you have the guitar in the background, and then the guitar at one point gets a riff by itself, which I will be showing you. And it just hits, man. It hits harder than it really should, and it's amazing. The guitar solo in this is awesome, and it really does its job, really hyping up the action, really going well with the what we're seeing on the screen. Um, and yeah, I think the two complement each other very well. The vocals, the instrumental from the guitar, and the visuals. Okay, sorry I And can't I will actually show give you you a the little theme here taste because of that Disney right blocked it, here. but they didn't say I couldn't reenact it. So here we go. Spider blood, radioactive spider blood. Oh, that's not. Spider blood, spider blood. I can't do it as good. Alright, let's try the guitar. That's awful. It sounds nothing like the theme. I apologize. Blame Disney, not me. Okay, so wasn't that pretty badass? You but anyways, now another aspect of this I would like to discuss is the visuals. Um, as you can see, some of the buildings are CGI, which you will see shot. Sometimes they're regular, I think, hand drawn animated, and then sometimes they are CGI throughout the series. Especially like the swinging shots, or if it's like a pan, sometimes they'll pan for the city and just show the buildings in CGI. And they show the CGI buildings in the intro, which I think bring a lot of dimension to them and make them stand out. you know, especially for another shot, which we will discuss in a little bit, which I find it cool. So yeah, this I believe this cartoon, I don't know what the regular animation was, but I believe it was hand drawn 2D animation. And then sometimes they would put the buildings in CG. I like that little mix there. I think that's a balance more that more cartoon designers should do instead of heavily leaning on CGI, which they seem to do a lot nowadays. Um, I also like this little transformation scene I'll show you up here, where we see the spider bite Peter and the red and flashing blue in the background, signifying his change in the Spider-Man being like that little symbolism. And then we see him shirtless climbing the wall onto the ceiling, and it quickly switches to a shot of Spider-Man in full suit on the ceiling. I really like that. I think it was a cool way to show, like, hey, this dude's Spider-Man for people who didn't know going in. And yeah, it was a quick little creative shot. Okay, let's continue. Um, there's a few other shots I want to talk about this intro. This intro introduces a lot of characters and a lot of villains, and there's and shows a lot of them. And there's a couple I would like to point out, which I find like very, very interesting and clever ways of introducing. Um, one is we see Peter Parker taking pictures, and we see the Kingpin's reflection in the camera lens before he does the flash. I think that was a really interesting way to show the character in the intro, and I like that. I thought that was a cool little shot. There was also there's a part where there again, this was what I was talking about with the CG building, and I think I do show it earlier, but I want to talk about this. You see Hobgoblin, who is, I believe, again 2D hand drawn animated, coming out of the CGI building. Well, at least it looks like it. I believe it's his reflection, but it looks like he's coming out of the CGI building, like coming through it, and it's really cool. Really cool shot. Um, and another one is we see a shot from later on in the series. If you've seen the series, you would know this shot, but I think this is really an eye opener and really will catch attention as a giant symbiote monster thing grabbing Peter Parker and trying to eat him and like throwing him in its mouth. Now, if you've seen the series, you know what this is about, but if you've not seen the series, this is really an eye grabber because you have no idea what's going on, and then it immediately cuts to Venom, which I like. Um, Venom hovering over Spider-Man and kind of trapping him, and I thought that was a very clever way to show them and create suspense for the series. You also have some other cool shots like Mary Jane pulling down a newspaper of the headline about Mysterio, and that's kind of her introduction in the intro, and that was a very cool shot. And you also have a shot of Spider-Man running with Harry away from some explosions. Um, you also have some shots of the web shooters in here, which I find really cool. They showed off the web shooters in the intro, which is a very important part to Spider-Man. He didn't inherit all the powers of the Spider-Man of a spider. I mean, he had to make some of them himself, like the web shooters. It really shows his intellect, Peter Parker's. Um, yeah, Peter Parker's IQ and how smart he really is, because Peter Parker is actually one of the smartest people in the Marvel universe. He's up there with like Tony Stark and what's his name, Reed Richards, you know, in that field. We also get a shot of the Punisher in this, which I find is cool because there's a lot of people that show up in the series, and a lot of cool characters from different shows, from different parts of the comics, and I like that they decided to show Punisher in here. So yeah, um, in the end, this is just a really dope intro. I think it does a really good job at introducing the series the way it does, and I enjoy it very much. Next time we are going to be reviewing the first episode of this series of Spider-Man and the 90s series of Spider-Man, and that is, I believe, The Night of the Lizard. I hope you guys are enjoying Spidey July. You guys have a nice day or night, whatever time it is. Stay frosty. This is Trenchy signing off. Beep up boop.